Hi, good morning, friends. A very warm welcome to all of you. I am Gourav Gupta and I welcome all of you to the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep. BYJU'S Exam Prep is the most comprehensive app for all the examinations, including CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. Now, my dear friends, in this series of session, which we call as Tuesday's DI Mantra, we decipher all the DI techniques that will help you in faster calculation techniques and saving a lot of time, saving plenty of time while you're solving questions of data interpretation in many entrance examinations. Now, data interpretation is an integral part of almost each and every entrance examinations that you are going to take for MBA. All right. So in this session, like we have started the last week, now, this session is conducted every Tuesday, and in the last week, we have taken the basic session of pie charts in which we have discussed some faster calculation techniques. All right, and we have discussed some of the basic and advanced level sets of data interpretation. Now, let's first of all quickly have a look at the schedule that we run on the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep for the entire week. Now, from Wednesday to Monday, we have a daily editorial at 10 a.m. Monday is a strategic Monday. Again, at 10 a.m., we tell you all different strategies for data interpretation, for QA, for verbal ability. Tuesday DI Mantra comes at 11 o'clock. Quantitative Wednesday at 1 p.m. Grammar Thursday. So every Thursday we teach you grammar at 2 p.m. Friday logic. So everything which is based on logic will come on Friday and that will be telecasted at 2 p.m. Reading strategies discussed on Saturday at 12 noon and inquisitive Sunday at 9 p.m. So this is the entire schedule that we run for the entire week on the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep. Now, talking about Tuesday's DI Mantra, on 5th of October, we have taken a session on pie charts. All right. So in that session, I have taught you different calculation techniques as well as we have discussed different pie charts. Now, today, 12th of October, we are going to discuss some of the basics and advanced level sets of line graphs. 19th October will be the day for bar graphs and 26th October will be the day for DI questions which involve tabular data. All right. So friends, let's start with this session of deciphering DI techniques. Now in this session, we are going to discuss line graphs. Just give me a second. Okay. So in this session, we are going to discuss line graphs. All right. Wait a second, friends. I think there is some problem with the reception. So let me quickly have a look at that. All right, so I think we are all good. So in this session, first of all, I'll be taking one set on the basics of line graphs. So I'll be presenting a line graph in front of you, okay? And we will learn how to basically fetch the values from this line graph, okay? Now the second set that I'll be taking today will be a little difficult, okay? So it will be a little difficult, it will be a little confusing to fetch data from this line graph. All right, so let's talk about the line graphs quickly. So the first set on our screen now. Now let's read all the information carefully before we start answering the given questions. Now the common data says that the following line graph represents the selling price in rupees per shoe and the cost price in rupees per shoe of a shoe company for 4 consecutive years, 16, 17, 18 and 19. Okay, so these are the 4 years for which data is mentioned below in the line graph. All right, and this data is about the selling price and the cost price of shoe, of one pair of shoe, okay, for the years 16, 17, 18 and 19. At the bottom of the screen, you can see that a small note is written. The company makes only one type of shoes. All right. So the data is very simple in front of us. Now focus on this part of the data on the right hand side, which says the blue line will show the selling price and the red line will show the cost price. So if I'll try and fetch some values for, let's say, year 2017, so I can say that the selling price for 2017 will be shown by this value, which is 600 on the left hand side of the graph. All right. So on the vertical axis, the price is mentioned, the selling price or the cost price, and on the horizontal axis, they have mentioned different years. So for the year 2017, the selling price will be 600, and for the same year, the cost price will be 800. All right. So likewise, I can fetch values from this line graph. Fine. So as far as fetching the values, as far as taking the values from this line graph is concerned, it is absolutely simple. All right. Now let's have a look at some questions. Now these questions, most of these questions will be very basic questions. All right. So the first question, for how many of the given years the company bears a loss? Okay. Now when do we have a loss? We have a loss when cost price is greater than the selling price. All right. I'll repeat again. The cost price is greater than selling price, then we will have a loss. So for all the years when cost price is more than selling price, those will be the years for which the company will bear a loss. All right. Now let's talk about in which year this will happen. So all of you, those who are present in the class, like Siddharth is there. Good morning, Siddharth. So all of you can now quickly mention your answers. So cost price greater than selling price, or I can say that the line for cost price should be above the line of selling price. Now this particular thing happens for the year 2017. In 2017, the cost price is 800 and the selling price is 600. All right. And I can see the same thing happening for 2018. Okay. So in 2018, the cost price is 1200 and the selling price is 800. So for these two particular years, I can say that cost price is greater than selling price, and hence answer will be option C, that is 2. A very basic question. Okay. Let's quickly move on to question number 2. Now question number 2 is asking about the loss of the company per shoe in 2018. So again, a very straightforward question. We just have to fetch values for 2018 from the graph. Okay. So for 2018, I can say that the cost price is equal to this, that is 1200. All right. And the selling price for the same year 2018 is shown by this value, and which is 800. So cost price is 1200. I have bought the article for 1200 rupees. I'm selling it at 800 rupees. That means I will bear a loss of 400 rupees. All right. So answer will be which option? Answer will be option number A, that is rupees 400. Okay. Like I said, this first set of questions will be a little easy. Okay. And then the second question will be a little advanced as compared to this one. Moving on to question number 3. Find the profit percentage of company in 2019. So for 2019, I'll write both the prices, the cost price and the selling price. So cost price and the selling price for the year 2019. So cost price is shown by the red lines. So that is rupees 600. And the selling price for the same year is rupees 1000. All right. Now the profit here is in terms of rupees. I'm not talking about profit percentage right now. Profit in terms of rupees is 400. All right. So profit in terms of rupees is 400. Other students, VM, Anjali, Jyoti and Siddharth, Kushal, Chainika, all of you may mention which option number will be the correct answer. Meanwhile, I'm solving this one. Okay. So quickly go ahead. So profit is 400. Now, how do we define profit percentage? Profit percentage is defined as profit over the cost price multiplied by 100. So profit percentage is profit as a percentage of cost price. So profit here is 400. Cost price is 600 multiplied by 100. All right. So if you'll solve this, cancel, and 400 upon 600 or 200 upon 3 percentage profit. Now, since options are given in decimals, I'll convert this fraction into decimals. So 200 upon 3 is nothing but 66.66 percentage. All right. So 66.66 percentage will be the profit for the company in the year 2019. All right. Okay. So all of you have given a correct answer. So let's quickly move on to the next question. And I want all of you to write your answer in the chat box as soon as possible. Okay. So question number 4 on your screen now. What is the ratio of profit per shoe in 2019 to that of 2016? So I have to write the profit of 2019 and I have to find its ratio with the profit of 2016. I'm sorry. So मैंने 60 लिख दिया है यहाँ पे. So I have to find the profit of 2019 divided by the profit of 2016. Okay. Now for 2019, the selling price is 1000 and cost price is 600. So 1000 minus 600 will be the profit in 2019. In 2016, the selling price is 800 and cost price is 400. So 800 minus 400 will be the profit. So in the numerator, I have 400. In the denominator, I have 400. So in both years, the profit is 400 each. So the ratio will be 1 upon 1. Or you can say that 1:1. And which option is the correct answer? Option E, that is 1:1 is our correct answer. All right. Simple. Okay. Now let's move on to the last question for this set before we'll move on to the next set for the day. So last question. Now a little lengthy. Okay. Please read each and every information carefully. I will be solving in parallel to all of you. All right. So question is asking if in 2020, now the data is given up till 2019 and they are talking about year 2020. Okay. So they are saying that if in the year 2020, the cost price per shoe is 18% more than the cost price per shoe in 2017. So let's read the data up till this point. So 2020 ka cost price is mentioned now. So 2020's cost price is 18% more than the cost price per shoe in 2017. Now cost price per shoe in 2017 is 800. Okay. So in this year, the cost price is 18% more than 800. All right. So 18% more than 800. All right. So what I'll do is in 800, I will add 18% of 800. Okay. Now how to calculate 18% of 800? So I'll show the calculation at the bottom. Okay. I'll erase it later. All right. So what I do, I have 800 and I want to calculate 18% of this value. Okay. So what I do is I always break the bigger problem in small problems. So to calculate 18%, first of all, I'll calculate 20%. Okay. 20% of 800 and then I'll subtract 2% of 800 from this value. Okay. Now to calculate 20%, I already have 800. Okay. So I have to calculate 20% of 800. अब 800 का 10% कितना होगा? 800 का 10% कितना होगा? It will be 80. So if 10% is 80, I'll write it. So if 10% is 80, so 20% will be double of that and it will be equal to 160. All right. So 10% is 80, 20% will be 160. All right. Subtract 2% of this value. So already I know 20% is 160. So 2% कितना हो जाएगा? 2% will be 16. So 160 minus 16, it will be 144. All right. It will be 144. Am I clear? So this value will be 144. So I can say that In 2020, the cost price will be 144 rupees more than 800. Okay, so I'll erase, make some space. So if I'm talking about year 2020, the cost price is 800, 800 plus 144, that is 944. All right, okay, so this is the cost price. Now they must be also talking about the selling price. So the selling price per shoe for 2020, the selling price per shoe for 2020 is 7% less than the cost price per shoe in 2018. So cost price per shoe in 2018 is 1200. Okay, and the value here of selling price of 2020 is 7% less than this. So I'll subtract 7% of 1200 from 1200. So again, using the similar method, I can do this calculation orally. So 1200 I already have. 10% will be 120. 1% will be 12. Okay, so if 1% is 12, then 7% should be 12 multiplied by 7. 12 multiplied by 7 is how much? It is 84. Okay, so 1200 minus 84 is 1116. Okay, so cost price is this much and selling price is this much. So clearly visible here that I'm having a profit. Now let's calculate the value of the profit. So 1116 minus 944, this value will come out to be 172. All right, now let's have a look at what do we have to calculate. Now the question is asking what is the profit or loss per shoe in 2020. So we have to calculate the profit or loss. So we have a profit of rupees 172. Simple. Okay, so answer will be option C, that is rupees 172 profit. Okay, so these 5 questions were a basic simple sets of line graphs. In this set we just saw how to basically fetch the values and apply it in the questions which will be followed. Okay, now let's move on to the second set. Now friends, in the second set it will be a little confusing to fetch the values of the data. Okay, so let's have a look at the common data first of all, and we'll spend some time in understanding how to fetch values. Okay, so this is the set that is given. We'll be solving 4 questions. So the information says that the graph below shows the exports of copper from country X. So simple, exports of copper from country X from the month of July to December 2001. So for the entire year, 12-month data is given. So January 2021 से start करके December 2021 का data दिया हुआ है. Now let us understand this line graph properly. Okay. Now this line graph has 3 axes. Now one is the horizontal axis. On horizontal axis you can see the different months starting from January, February, March and so on up till December. Okay, so 12 months are mentioned on the horizontal axis. Now listen to me very carefully. Okay, on the vertical axis, so we have, or you can see there are 2 different vertical axes, one on the left hand side and one on the right hand side. So first of all, let's talk about the vertical axis on the left hand side. Now the vertical axis on the left hand side shows the export quantity. All right, so just read this part, export quantity in 1000 tons. Okay, so units is 1000 tons and they are talking about the export quantity in thousands of tons. So ये जो bracket में mentioned है units, this is very important to answer further questions. Okay, so on the left axis it is export quantity in 1000 tons. Now you will see there are 2 lines drawn, one with orange color and one with blue color. Now out of these 2 lines, which of the lines refers to the export quantity? This is mentioned at the bottom of this graph. Okay, so the blue line is for the export quantity. All right, and the values must be read on the left hand side of on the vertical axis. Okay, so जो blue वाली line है, this is for export quantity. All right, and इसकी वैल्यूज हमें कहां से पिक करनी है? फ्रॉम द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड और ऑन द वर्टिकल एक्सिस, राइट? सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if you will look at the value for January, so this is the value for January, and I will extrapolate this value on the left hand side, and this value will be red. Okay, now how to pick these values? Let's have a look at that. Now on the left vertical axis, you can see the values are written 0, 100, 200, 300, 400 and so on. And these values are written in front of the gray lines. Okay, so these are the gray lines that I'm talking about. So 100, 200, I'm marking it with the red color, and then 300, 400, 500, 600. So you don't have to see the blue lines, you just have to look at the gray lines along these axes. All right, okay. Now if I talk about the value of January, this value is lying somewhere between 100 and 200. अब 100 and 200 के बीच में value है, so the value can be 150, it can be a little over 150, it can be a little below 150. Okay, now at the bottom of the screen you can see a note. All the values in the graphs are multiple of 50. So this particular thing will be a breather for us. All the values mentioned here should be in the multiples of 50. So what will be the value? All of you please write it. What will be the value for export quantity for the month of January? It is between 100 and 200. So there is only one multiple of 50 which is between 100 and 200. So 100 and 200 के बीच में कौन सा value है? It is 150. So export quantity for January is 150,000 tons. All right, am I clear? So likewise you have to fetch all the values from this graph. Now similarly, if I talk about the second part, the export money, so you will look at the right hand side vertical axis, export money in $1 million. Okay, so the units are important. So export money in $1 million, right? So let's try to fetch one value. So export money के लिए आपको कौन सा ग्राफ देखना है? Right hand side vertical axis. Okay, and the values are mentioned 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250 and so on, and they are mentioned in front of these blue lines. Okay, they are mentioned in front of these blue lines, so the reference will be these blue lines for export in terms of money. Okay, so if I talk about let's say the data of April. Okay, April month export money. So April month export money, the value comes at this point. Okay, and if you'll go on the right hand side vertical axis, so the value will be $100 million. Okay, so value will be $100 million for April's export money. All right, fine. Now guys, अभी तो easy लग रहा है कि ठीक है, for export quantity will go on the left hand side, for export money will go on the right hand side. Once we'll be solving the questions, then sometimes we tend to commit mistakes, sometimes we tend to get confused between these values. Okay, so you have to be very careful while fetching the values from this graph. Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the questions, and questions will also be a little bit of higher difficulty level. Okay, so let's look at these questions one by one. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit time for every question. My explanation will be very slow. I'll explain each and every dimension, each and every part of the calculations. All right, so question number one, be careful what they are asking for. Now question number one is, which month witnessed the second least exports volume wise to exports revenue ratio? So basically they are talking about the ratio of exports in terms of volume and exports in terms of revenue. So volume upon revenue, this is what we have to calculate for all the months, and we have to find out which month witnessed the second least exports. Okay, which month witnessed the second least ratio of exports volume and exports revenue. So we calculate the ratio and we'll have to find out which of the month will show the second least value, right? अब इसमें problem क्या है? I am given 4 options, but these 4 options are of no use because we don't have to find out the least value, we have to find out the second least value. अब problem यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Now let's say if they would have asked the least value, ठीक है, least value पूछा होता and these were the 4 options. So out of these 4 options, I know one of them is least, okay? So out of these 4 options, जिसका भी lowest value होता मैं उस वाले ऑप्शन को आंसर मार्क कर देता, ठीक है? Because these are the 4 months which are mentioned, options में none of these नहीं है, okay? So since none of these is not in the options and अगर मुझसे पूछा गया which of the following months have the least value of this ratio, so I just calculate the values for these 4 months, simple, and out of these 4 values, whichever is the lowest value, I'll mark that value as my answer. Okay, fine. The problem here is they are talking about the second least value. They are talking about the second least value. So let's say the value for March comes out to be 3. For January, it comes out to be 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now I cannot determine which of these values is second least. All right. Now I can say that December and July, these two values cannot be second least. Okay. Now answer can be any one of March or January if these are the two values. Okay. Now let's say how these can be the possible answers. Now if let's say in actual March is the lowest value and January is the next higher value, so I could have marked January as the answer, but यहाँ पे March भी answer हो सकता है because the months which are not mentioned in the options, उनमें से किसी ना किसी एक month का lowest value हो सकता है. Okay, so let's say February का value 2 होगा. Okay, so अगर February का value 2 होगा तो answer क्या हो जाएगा? Answer will be March. Okay, so the problem is you will have to calculate this ratio for all the months. So examination में गलती मत करना. Examination में don't just calculate the values for these 4 months and out of these 4 months which one is the second least value, don't mark it as the answer. Okay, so in examination they can basically involve this kind of element in these questions. Second least पूछने का relevance यही है that they want us to calculate all the values for these months. ठीक है? Now let's calculate these values for all the months one by one. So I'll just open a blank screen. Okay, only the graph is mentioned here. So let's calculate the values. So हमें ratio कौन सा calculate करना है? Volume upon revenue. Okay, so quantity divided by money. This is what we have to do. Now for January, can you tell me what is the ratio for January? Quantity upon money. So that means blue upon orange. Now the value of blue is 150 and for orange, go on the right hand side, don't commit a mistake. So 150 divided by 100. So for January, it is 150 upon 100. All right. Be careful with all these values. Now for February. So all of you can write these values with me. Yes, Darshit, I will write it as 3 by 2. Okay. Now for February, the value is 200 divided by 150. So 150, the value should be from the right hand side on the vertical axis. Okay, so 200 divided by 150. 200 divided by 150, I can write it as 4 upon 3. So please keep writing the values with me one by one. Now for March, it is 50 divided by 100. 50 upon 100, which is 1 upon 2. Done. Then April, the value will be 400 divided by 100. So 400 upon 100, that is 4 upon 1. May, June, July, August. Let's now do this quickly. For May, it will be 300 upon 200. That is 3 upon 2. For June, it will be 350 upon 150, and that will be 7 upon 3. For July, it will be 250 upon 250, that is 1 upon 1. For August, it will be 700 upon 300, that is 7 upon 3. September, October, November, and December. Now I'll directly write the simplified values of these ratios. Now for September, it will be 450. So September, it will be 450 upon 250. That is 9 upon 5. October, it will be 400 upon 250. So that is 8 upon 5. November, it will be 3 upon 2. And December, it will be 250 upon 150. That is 5 upon 3. All right. So these are all the values. Wonderful. So a lot of you have written the values. Great. Now we have to find out the second least of these values. Now upon observation, I can see that most of the values are more than 1. And there is one value only which is less than 1. Okay, so there is one ratio which is less than 1, and there is one ratio which is equal to 1. Rest all the other ratios are more than 1. So I can say that the value for March will be least. So this value is least, and the value for July will be the second least. That's it. Question over. Okay, so answer will be option D, that is July. All right. So again, I take you to the values. So I have written all these values. I can see that all the ratios except March and July are greater than 1. Okay. Now March is 1 by 2 and July is 1. So March will be the least value and July will be the second least value. And I can mark my answer as July, which is the second least value of the ratio of exports by volume and exports by revenue. Okay. So this was question number 1. Option D is the answer, right? Now let's move on to the second question for this. Now question is, in how many months the average price per ton of copper has witnessed? So average price per ton. Ab problem kya hai? In the previous case, we have calculated the quantity upon money. Okay, quantity upon money. This is what we have calculated in the previous case. Now in this case, what we have to do is we have to find out the average price per ton. That means we have to calculate the ratios of money over money divided by the quantity. So जो भी ratios हमने पहले निकाले थे, हमें अब क्या करना पड़ेगा? हमें उन सारे ratios का reciprocal लिखना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? This is one thing that we'll have to do. Okay, so let's quickly write the reciprocal of all those ratios. Okay, so I have the values. So since all of us have already write those things, so I'll quickly mention the reciprocal of all those ratios. So for January, it is 2 upon 3. I'll write them one by one. Okay, for February, it is 3 upon 4. March, it is 2 upon 1. April, it is 1 upon 4, then 2 upon 3, then 3 upon 5. So this is for June. Now let's write it for July. July, it is 1. August, it is 3 upon 7, then 5 upon 9, then it is 5 upon 8, then it is 2 upon 3, and then it is 3 upon 5. Okay, so I have written all the ratios. Okay, now let us understand. अब ये question थोड़ा सा important है, इसमें हम calculation techniques समझेंगे. Now the question is, in how many months the average price per ton? So मैंने क्या किया? Average price per ton exactly calculate नहीं किया, just I have looked at the ratio of money and the quantity. So money divided by quantity will give me the average price. Okay. So for how many months the average price has witnessed a growth between 5% and 30%. So growth 5 से 30% अगर है, so I'll have to consider that data, otherwise I will leave that data. All right, fine. Okay, so let's have a look at which month will be considered where the growth is between 5% and 30%. अब इसको calculate कैसे करना है? So I'll just consider the data for the first 2 months. Okay, first 2 months initial and the final value assume कर लेते हैं. So 2 upon 3 से data कितना हो गया है? 3 upon 4. Now to basically make all these calculations easier, what you can do is if you are comparing them, just do the cross multiplication. So cross multiplication kiya, so on the left hand side I'll have 4 into 2, that is 8. On the right hand side I have 3 into 3, that is 9. So from initial value of 8, a final value of 9 has been achieved. So what is the percentage change in this case? Percentage change कितने का हुआ है? Change, which is 1 upon initial value into 100. Okay, so 1 by 8 का change हुआ है. 1 by 8 का change is equivalent to a change of 12.5%. All right, so I can say that in this case the change has happened which is between 5 and 30%. Okay, I'll once again show you the same thing and then we'll do the fast calculations. All right, okay, so let's have a look at it once again. Now for the second year, initial value is 3 by 4 and the final value is 2. Now do the cross multiplication. Initial value is 3, final value will become 8. अब 3 से 8 हो रही है value. Can I say double से भी ज़्यादा है? Okay, from 3 the value is changing to 8. It is basically getting more than double. All right, so more than double, that means there is a change of more than 100%. So this particular year will not be considered. I'll cancel this. Okay, I will consider this one. Now in the next case, 2 to 1 by 4, it is not a growth, the value is decreasing, so again it will not be considered. The next year, 1 by 4 to 2 by 3, I'll do the cross multiplication. Again I'll get from 3 to 8. Okay, 3 से 8 हो रही है value, again double से ज़्यादा increase है, I'll not consider this value. Next year 2 by 3 to 3 by 5. So cross multiply कर लो, easy लगेगा. 10 to 9. So from 10 the value is going to 9. So it's a decrease. I will not consider this value. Next is 3 by 5 to 1. So 3 by 5 से value 1 जा रही है. That means 3 to 5. Now 3 से 5 जा रही है value. So there is an increase of 2 over the initial value of 3. So I can say that this change is 66.66%. So again, this value will not be considered. Okay, fine. सही चल रहा है सब कुछ. थोड़ा सा erase कर देते हैं या फिर let's use this space on the left hand side. Now next is 1 से 3 by 7 हो रहा है. So 1 से 3 by 7, it is decreasing. I'll not consider. Next change is 27 cross multiply कर लिया मैंने से 35. Change is 8 divided by 27 into 100. Okay, 8 divided by 27 into 100. अब ये change देखना है कि is it more than 30% or not. अब इसके लिए एक simple technique use करो. 27 का 10% कितना होता है? It is 2.7. So 30% is 8.1. All right. Now, since the numerator is less than 8.1, I can say that the change is just less than 30%. So this particular case will be considered. All right. Now, friends, why I have taken this set, I just want to show how you can improve your calculations. ठीक है? Now, don't even think that कि अगर exam में ये question आता है तो हम करेंगे या फिर नहीं. No. अभी ये मत सोचो. This is not the time to think that. But understand that if you basically practice this type of questions, then definitely your calculation skills will improve. Okay. Now next is cross multiplication. 40 say 45. So change is 5 over 40. That means 1 upon 8. That means 12.5%. This should be considered. The next change is from 15 to 16. So very minor change. So check karna hai that is it lying between 5 and 30% or not. So change is 1 over 15. Now 1 over 15, how much is this value? 1 upon 15 is 6.66. Okay, so this will also be considered. The last case, cross multiplication 10 to 9, it's a decrease. I will not consider this. Okay, now just look at all the cases which I have selected, all of you. So there are 4 cases in which the growth is happening, which is between 5% and 30%. All right. So going back to the question, answer will be option C. So there are 4 such instances in which this is happening. All right. Am I clear? Now, please look at this particular type of calculation once again if someone has not able to understand this. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next question, question number 3 for this data. What is the average price in dollars per ton? Careful about the units. What is the average price in dollars per ton of copper in December? Now, talking about the data for December, what we have to do is average price per ton. So numerator may will have to keep the price, that is export money, which is for December 150. Now I'll take care of units, $150 million. Now how many zeros do we have in a million? Lakhs. Lakhs में कितने zeros होते हैं? It is 10 raised to the power 5. Now 1 million is 10 lakhs. Okay, so 1 million will be equal to 10 raised to the power 6. So $150 million will be 150 into 10 raised to the power 6 dollars. All right. Now divided by the quantity. Now quantity in December is 250,000 tons. So 250,000 will be 10 raised to the power 3 and tons. All right. So this is what we have to find out. Dollar per ton. So look at the unit dollar per ton. So 150 upon 250 is 3 upon 5. 10 raised to the power 6 upon 10 raised to the power 3 will be 1000. 5 and 1000 will get cancelled and will give me 200. So my answer will be $600 per ton. Okay, is the average price of copper in the month of December, and answer will be option C, that is 600. All right. So Darshit VM, answer is not 6, answer is 600. All right. Okay. Now quickly moving on to the next question, the last question for the day. What was the maximum price of copper per ton in any of the above months? अब हमें वो वाला month select करना है जिसमें price maximum हो, price per ton maximum हो. Now, in the first 2 questions, we have calculated the ratios. In this case, for the 4th question, which ratio we will consider? We will consider the ratio of price upon quantity, money upon quantity. So let's go back and determine कौन से वाले month में ये चीज हमने consider की थी. So in the second question, this is what we considered. Now let's have a look at in which month the value is maximum. In which month the value is maximum. Okay, so these are the ratios given in front of you. Can you tell me in which month the value was maximum? Come on, in which month the value was maximum? So the value is maximum among these ratios for the month of March. All right. So for the month of March, the value was maximum. Wait, Darshit, the March's value was 2. It is maximum among all the given ratios. Okay. So I'll go back to the question and look at the values for March. Now for March, I'll calculate the price. Okay. अब ये तो समझ में आ गया कि March was maximum, but what was the average price? What was the price per ton in this month. So in March, the price was, or export money was 100. Okay, 100 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 6. Okay, $100 million, and the quantity was 50,000 tons. All right. So this is what we have to calculate. 2 into 10 raised to the power 3. That is $2,000 will be your answer. So the maximum price was for the month of March. So Darshit, this is what we have to be very careful about. Okay. Guys, Rohini, you have also mentioned the answer as July. Not a worry. Please be a little careful. Observe all the figures properly and then calculate your answers. So answer will be option D in this case. All right. So friends, that's all from my side for the basics of line graphs. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this lecture, every Tuesday you will see me with the basic techniques, basic ways of deciphering the DI questions. Okay. So that's all from my side. If you all like my lecture, please right now do press the like button. Don't waste the time. Please do press the like button if you have liked this lecture. If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, please do mention in the comment box. Share this session and please do subscribe our channel. Now friends, the next few days will be packed for all of you. NMET is going to start and our expert Gautam Bawa sir is coming up with the analysis of NMAT 2021. So this analysis session will be conducted on 16th of October and it will be live at 3:30 p.m. in which we'll be discussing the detailed analysis of the expected cutoffs for NMAT 2021 and what should be the 15-day strategy to crack this particular examination. So live on YouTube on 16th October, please don't miss this session. Next is if you want to enroll with us for CAT 2021 program. So we have a 2-month crash course, okay, which is running right now. So for the complete information for this crash course, you can call at this number. These are all the complete details on your screen about this particular batch and the faculty who will be teaching in this batch. So I am one of the faculty members who is taking quant in this particular batch. All right. So you may join for this crash course if you are aspiring for CAT 2021. Also for CAT 2022, the next year, we have a complete course batch number 5, which we have already launched. Okay. And these are the complete details for this particular batch and the set of faculty who will be teaching in this particular batch. Last 2 days are left for All India Open Mock for CAT 2021. So targeting 2021 CAT. So please take this mock by 14th of October. So 14th October is the last date till this exam will happen. This mock test will be available for all of you. All right. Now, these are different courses for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations that we offer here at BYJU'S Exam Prep. The online classroom programs, which I have already talked about, CAT 21, a percentile booster course, and CAT 2022, a complete course. Okay, so complete details are mentioned on the screen. Again, if you want some more information about these programs and courses, please do call at this number. The complete list of mentors that we have on our panel, you can see that on an average, we have 15-year plus work experience among all of us. So friends, that's all from my side for the day. Please do follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Join our Telegram group. Please do subscribe our channel. That's all from my side, friends. Thank you very much.